Senator Hagan, what would this bill mean to the women of North Carolina if it becomes law?
Well, if this is a health care bill about women, I am glad any state legislator in Raleigh is not my doctor. When I look at what the leadership in the General Assembly is doing, under a sneak attack, they put forward and they forced a sweeping anti-women's health care bill that with no public notice, no transparency, and that doesn't pass a public scrutiny test in North Carolina. Those are not the values that we hold. This is certainly a distraction. What we've got to be focused on in North Carolina, everybody tells me the #1 issue is jobs and the economy. And what does our General Assembly do? Once again, right before a holiday weekend, with no public notice, no transparency, this is the kind of legislation that they put forward. They have been working on anti-middle class legislation, anti-women, and anti-voter rights. And it is wrong. It is not the values in North Carolina.
Reid, do you get the sense that there's a kind of cross-border cooperation among the states that are taking these actions this week?
Yeah, absolutely, Lawrence. When you look at what's happening in Texas and Ohio and now in North Carolina, I sort of see the hidden hand of a group called Americans United for Life. I was doing a little research before the segment, and while the National Right to Life Committee, the committee that has said that they would like to see Marco Rubio sponsor that legislation nationally, they get a lot more ink. But Americans United for Life is basically a bill mill. They are a legislation writing factory. They write model legislation that really sounds very similar to the bill in Texas, very similar to the provisions here, that's similar to the provisions in Ohio. And I think what probably happened here is that the legislators in North Carolina looked at what's happening in Texas and other states where women are fighting these laws, where they're fighting these bills, where they're coming out and protesting, and where it's becoming national news, and they decided to make the world's most ironic sneak attack. I'm sure these legislators couldn't tell you what Sharia law is, but what they think it is exactly what they're doing in these bills, imposing a religious dictate on women.